Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. So, a question in chat: how do you deal with companies that sit down at the let's try that again. How do you deal with companies that sit down at the table to negotiate but are very aggressive? If they're too aggressive, these are all signals of, do you want to go work for that company? If they're treating you this way as an applicant, what are they going to treat you like as an employee? If they're not being respectful, then are they going to be respectful when you're actually an employee there? Those would be signals for me of like, are they being really super hard-nosed about it? But it also depends on what you're negotiating for and why they're reacting in an aggressive way. If they say, we're going to pay you this much money and you're asking for way more money, and they come back aggressively and say, hey, like, we can't match that. Like, we're only going to offer a tiny bit more than what we were initially offering. Again, negotiation is a back and forth kind of thing, but it really depends on how you're trying to negotiate and then sort of see their reaction response to that. If you feel that they're being aggressive, it could be that you're asking for too much. But at the same time, if you know that's your value, then it's okay to walk away. So one of the job offers that I got back in January, they weren't even offering market rate. And so I wrote back and I'm like, hey, for this level that you want me to come in at, for this role and the kinds of responsibilities, like, this is kind of the minimum range. Like, this is the range of the other offers that I'm currently getting. Like, can you at least come up to the bottom of that level? And they're like, well, we can come up to the bottom of that level. We can't go any higher. And we also can't give you any more equity. And I'm like, the company's raised $30 million. There's no reason you can't. You're choosing not to. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me finish up some other interviews and I'll get back to you. And like a week later, they're like, hey, we really need an answer pretty soon. And I'm like, okay, I'll get back to you in a couple more days. And a couple of days came by and I was getting offers that were much, much higher. Like, even after they were offering me $135,000, which is a senior level in developer relations and developer advocacy, is not market rate. For market rate, the senior level title for the kind of work I do starts at 150 and goes up from there to like up into the 200 range, a little over 200. And I'm like, you need to at least come up to 150. They're like, okay, we can give you 150, but we can't budge on anything else. We can't even give you more equity. Like, this is total compensation. This is all we can do. And then I started getting offers that were like way above that. And so I wrote them back. I'm like, thanks, but I'm not going to take your offer. It's way under rate. And they're like, okay, we get it. Thanks. Good luck. And so some companies are just going to say when they can't move or they don't want to move on that negotiation. Some companies are going to be more vocal about it, and some will just say no. If a company says like, no, you're asking for too much, we're just going to pull the offer, then it could be on them that they're just kind of a jerk company and you probably don't want to work there anyway. But again, depending on their reaction, if their reaction is aggressive, it could be because you've kind of provoked that from them. But either way, it's still a bad signal on their part. It's still like, it's not a good look for them to be aggressive about it. But again, I would probably need a little more detail on like, what was the initial offer? What were you trying to negotiate? What was their actual response? Like, tell me that wording. Because especially if it's in writing, it can be hard to infer like what the tone of what they were doing. But also seeing it from the business perspective, I can kind of give a little bit more insight into why they might try to move a particular thing or not. But I know Golang, I do appreciate the follow as well. So I would probably need a little more information to dig in on that a little bit. But my gut check right now is if they're reacting aggressively, it could be because you're asking for more than what they're willing to move on for whatever reason. And then from there, you need to make the decision of like, okay, well, am I okay with that level of aggression, or do I need to like dial that back because that's not, it's not something that I want to really push on, or is that company even a company that I want to work for? Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.